All right, everyone. Hello, I'm Mr. Sam, and I'm here with the one and only Coleman Sokol. Welcome, Coleman. Thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Coleman is a very special person to me. In case you don't know me, I'm the director of a virtual enrichment center called Young Scholars Academy for twice exceptional students. And before that space, I worked at an incredible space called Bridges Academy, where I had the pleasure of teaching Coleman for a couple of years. And Coleman now is blown me away. Is a senior in college at Cal Lutheran and is getting ready for a near perfect or perfect GPA graduation, getting ready for
fingers crossed.
So much exciting stuff going on, Coleman. So you're currently majoring in computer science as your undergraduate and then looking towards getting a master's in linguistics.
Yes.
How would you say, again, you're talking about the importance of parents being active listeners to make sure that their students both feel heard or included.
Mm-hmm.
How would you say, as a young adult now who's getting ready to graduate college and go get your master's degree and go do all sorts of amazing and exciting things, how would you, maybe advise or support parents in making those kinds of active listening steps to make sure their kids do feel that way?
I mean, I'm not sure. I guess what I just did is a good thing too. Being okay admitting that you're not sure about something takes a lot of energy. But once you do it, you kind of realize that suddenly you're not burdening yourself with a responsibility that was never even yours to begin with. I think getting started doing something like active listening is not easy. You kind of have to train yourself to do it. But what people want and how people feel gets expressed in so many different ways, not just verbally, but also, physically in your face, but also in your body language and, tension and anxiety and things like that. So it's not just about sitting down for a conversation and being like, yes, I hear you. It's also making sure that while you're being supportive, you're not looking to solve the problems for them, but give them the tools to solve the problem and allow them to take the initiative, because that's what will ultimately allow them to grow.
You're just dropping like nugget after nugget, and I'm giving you really hard questions. So that's a fantastic point. One of the goals for a lot of parents, difficult as it may be, is to have their students gain some level of autonomy, right? Gain
Mm-hmm.
independence. And what you're talking about is like resist the urge to do things for our kids sometimes. And instead, it sounds like just kind of be a part of the process, maybe equip them
Yes.
with tools and then give them space.
Yeah. And like, especially, like if we're talking about high schoolers in particular, like those are the people who want space the most in the world, pretty much. So kind of being comfortable giving them the space that they need to develop themselves and feel comfortable doing what they want to do, or going wherever they end up going, is very important. I mean, one discussion that I've had with another friend recently is having parents feel comfortable with their kids making mistakes. I was talking with a friend of mine, and her mom was scared to let her go out and take a trip. And I was talking to her, and I said, well, you're an adult now, right? You can go do what you want. Ultimately, if something happens on a trip, you're an adult and you're the one who's going to be taking charge of that, not your mom. So there's definitely a point where independence does kind of become the focal point almost. And I definitely had issues with this because in my freshman year, I had to transition out of being at home a lot of the time to suddenly being in my dorm and at school and with people and doing things of my own volition all the time rather than just some of the time, which, I mean, worked out well until COVID hit and I had to go back home. But even then, when I was back home, I realized that now that I had kind of like tasted independence almost, that I needed more. And so even though I was doing well alongside my family at home during COVID, I was still trying to act in such a way where I was also still making conscious, independent choices.